Today's objective is absolute value and comparing and ordering numbers. First of all, we have definitions. Absolute value is a number's distance from 0 on a number line. So if we have a number line, we're going to be measuring how far away from 0 is that number on the number line. An inequality is a math sentence that compares the values of two expressions using an inequality symbol. We have greater than, less than, or equal to. Very important concept number 1. Distance can never be negative. I cannot walk a negative 5 feet or drive a negative 10 miles. It just can't happen. So therefore, absolute value will always be described as a positive value. Okay, always, 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 absolute value will be described as a positive value because you are measuring distance. Finding absolute value. Absolute value is going to be indicated with these two bars surrounding the number. So if we have the absolute value of 6, it's going to be 6 because 6 is 6 units away from 0 on my number line. Negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4 because it is 4 units away from 0 on the number line. The absolute value, it doesn't change when I have a decimal. Negative 4.3 is going to be positive 4.3. Okay, remember distance is always positive. Sometimes you're going to have to solve within the absolute value sign before you simplify the entire expression. So we have 5 plus the absolute value of 3 plus a negative 2. So 3 plus a negative 2 is 1. So 5 plus the absolute value of 1 is the same thing as 5 plus 1, which would give me 6. If I'm looking at this number 5, the absolute value of 20 is 20, plus the absolute value of negative 10 is 10. So if I were to simplify that expression, I would come up with 30 as my answer. Okay. If I am looking here, I need to look at my absolute value symbols. Okay. Solve what's inside of them first. So negative 6 plus a negative 2 would give me the absolute value of a negative 8 plus the absolute value of 3. So the absolute value of a negative 8 is 8. I'm going to write this over here because I run out of room. Is 8. And then the absolute value of 3 is 3. So I would come up with 11. Comparing and ordering numbers. To write a number in order from greatest to least, okay, you always got to pay attention to the order that they give you. This one is greatest to least. We have 3 fractions here. So the first thing we're going to do is change each of those fractions to a decimal. And we'll do this by dividing, okay? So if we did 2 divided by 5, we would get 0.4. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. And 2 divided by 3 is 0.6 repeating. Okay. And then we would compare those decimals. Let's compare the number in the tenths place first. Okay. So you have a 4, a 5, and a 6. The number that is the biggest is the 0.6 repeating. So I'm going to write that one first. The next biggest is 0.5. That goes second, and 0.4 would go third. And then I can convert them back to their fraction form. 6 repeating is equal to 2/3. 5 tenths is equal to 1/2, and 4 tenths is equal to 2/5. Okay. They might ask you to put it in order from least to greatest, okay? And they might give you some fractions and decimals intermingled with each other. So let's turn the fraction into a decimal. 7 divided by 11 is 0.63 repeating, okay? So if it were continued, it would be 0.636363. So let's compare. If I look in the tenths place, they're all the same. So therefore, I have to go to the hundredths place. Again, they're all the same. So then I look at the next column. If I look here, I can put a 0 placeholder right here to kind of help me out. The smallest would be the one with the 0. Okay, so 0.63 is going to be my smallest. Okay. Again, we can add some 0 placeholders down there. So if we look at the next column, this one's gone. If we look at the next column, we see that 0 is less than 3. So 0.636 would go next. And then this one would be the biggest, which is 7/11. Using inequalities to compare. We're going to use those greater than or less than symbols. Okay, again, we're changing them to decimals. 2/3 is 6 tenths. 1/6 is 16 hundredths, okay? The 6/10 is bigger, so therefore the 2/3 is bigger. 15/8 is 1.875. 1 6/8 is 1.75. The ones are the same. The 8 is bigger than the 7, therefore 15/8 is bigger than 1 6/8. 3/5 comes out to be 6/10. Well, comparing it to 6/10, that is the same, so we're going to write an equal sign in the middle. And last but certainly not least, when we have negative numbers, we have to be more careful. Whichever one is further negative is the one that is going to be smaller. Okay, because think about it, if you have a number line, the further this way that you go, the smaller your number, right? So what you're going to have, if you have negative 2/3, you have negative 0.66, and negative 1/6 is negative 0.16. Okay, normally without the negative signs, you would say that that is bigger, but in this case, it's a bigger negative number, so it's further to the left on my number line, which makes it smaller. So negative 1/6 would be bigger than negative 2/3.